Hello and welcome to 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence. My name is Alice Banda, and in the studio I'm joined by Dorcas Mola Kakoma, a gender-based violence survivor. Welcome to the studio, Dorcas.
Thank you, and how are you?
I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so happy that you could come. You know, it's not easy to have people like you in the studio to come and tell us their story.
No, it's also my pleasure to experience the interview with you.
Okay, so we'll start by you telling us your story. Tell us from the time you were young, what sort of GBV experiences did you see or did you experience, and at what age were you?
So my GBV story is unique because we all experience gender-based violence in unique ways, specific to what you are destined for, I believe. So mine started at the age of 14 in my parents' home. I didn't know how to tell my parents because they were not even alcoholic parents. They were not party parents where like they go clubbing. They were very grounded in the word of God. So I couldn't just tell them that this has happened to me, but it happened from someone who they accommodated in our home. And you know, our home setting, when you have different relatives in the home, you can't find ways to confide in someone that the abuse has happened to you. But that's the time that it first time happened to me. And it repeatedly happened in the home. And even sometimes when I'm having my menses, the person will still continue with the abuse.
Was it an uncle, a cousin, or a brother?
I wouldn't state the relation because maybe the identity will be known. Okay. So it is just someone that my parents were looking after. Then when I finished grade 12, in our time it was like the times that we have now. People just go to Facebook, they find ways to find jobs online. I went in the newspaper because mom used to like bringing us newspapers, and my favorite place in the newspaper was where the adverts used to be. So I found something showing like employment opportunity. So that's how I found that place. I called the number and they gave me the address that we are in Kablonga. So that's how I went to that particular place in Kablonga. And I didn't even have enough transport to get there, but I managed to get there. So I entered, the maid welcomed me, and I'm looking forward to find other people coming for the interviews, but it was just me. And I'm asking which person called me. So you also need to have a skill to know that when you're meeting a stranger from a phone call conversation or an online conversation, always match the voice on the phone and the face of the person. You just need to develop that skill to be secure, to be also alert that that person is not someone who wants to cause you harm. So I entered, was given where to sit. So being lied to that, please first have a cup of coffee before we chat. That's how the person forced himself on me. And most times when you are raped, there's no opportunity to negotiate for protection. It just happens instantly. So I went back home feeling bad, and that made saw me walk out. So even you maids, as you are doing your work, I would love for you to just be reporting certain things that you are seeing that are happening in these homes where you work in, because that maid could have actually saved my life. I was young, I didn't know how to negotiate rape. Then after that happened, remember I just went home, and when you're from finishing grade 12, obviously your siblings are excited, work, and I was like, how do I even share that happened to me? So I would just get glue. When I'm sleeping, I would just sniff a bit to suppress what I was going through, or go to Kalundu Market, I buy some gin just to take a hard stuff to suppress what I went through during that ordeal. Then as life went on, I encountered another GBV issue where we now moved from Kalundu to Ngombe. My sister was murdered right in our home. So
how?
She was murdered by the husband. She had come to deliver her baby. The day she died, the baby was 1 year, 3 months. She was just from winning the baby. So after that happened, I just hear her voice, like she screamed only once. So I said, because of the events that happened in the week, I sensed that something was wrong.
What sort of events happened in the week?
Early on a Monday, she called me on the side because we were close. We used to go clubbing together. That time I didn't know the Lord. We used to really appreciate the alcohol. Even when it's a long weekend, we would really, really drink. So we were close. We kept each other's secrets. So she calls me, please, Dorcas, come I show you. So she lifts up the mattress. He practically put the knives, the small knives, all around the mattress. Remember, she came to deliver her child. We hadn't even yet unpacked her kitchen party gifts. Actually, he got the gifts for her kitchen party set of knives. So even in the home, be careful the things that you're keeping in the bedroom, because those can be used against you. As we're waiting for her to safely deliver, then she goes to her home and unpack her stuff. And remember, the incidents happened within the first year of their marriage. So we don't know whether they really knew each other before marriage and how they ended up in such a thing. So after she showed me, she says, do not tell mom first. Mom will be broken. You know that we just lost dad recently. I don't want her to be disappointed in me. So keep this secret and also save my life. Because if this man knows, then we are finished. So that time we hadn't yet had beam feeling in our home, meaning when someone is in the next room, they would hear the conversation. So the moment we are talking with mom, we didn't tell her about the knives. We just told her that my sister wants to opt out of the marriage. So he's in the bathroom, he's hearing the conversation, and we said that Saturday we would inform our uncle about it, families dissolve the marriage. Then that is how, on a Friday, he made sure she died before the Saturday meeting. So everybody goes out. I was 4 months pregnant. So he made sure he sent my brothers out. I need a screwdriver to fix the car. This one was sent for something. We just remained the three of us in the home. So remember what happened during the week, him crashing her phone. So she was using my phone actually because he destroyed her phone. When we are talking about the theme we have for GBV this year
so
as well.
those were red flags.
Yes, the phones, they caused strife. So she didn't know how to tell me whatever was going on. But that morning, after bathing, I heard her just scream in her room. I had to force my way into the bedroom. He had put the wardrobe. With my pregnancy, I pushed my way in. And that's how I found him on top of her, stabbing her. I think she obtained 21 stabs somewhere there because I actually went closer to him. He was just on top of her in boxers and just stabbing. And I remember he would put it, he would do this, and quickly do it again. I'm looking. So my mind connecting, I looked at her face, her eyes had... So I tried to push him. That's when now he tried to stab me. So I said, Bamlamu, you want to kill my baby as well? That is how a voice told me, if you're not going to leave this place, he's going to kill you. Now he started doing it faster, and he would make sure when the knife goes in, I saw that he would make sure it goes in all the way and comes out. And his eyes were not the usual eyes. That morning, he really smoked. I don't know what cigarette he smoked that morning. I go out to call for help. We didn't have a war fence yet. So I'm calling my auntie in the next yard. Auntie, come. So she thought, it's the usual pregnancy drama. I said, no, I need to save a life. So when such an incident happens again, you need to know how to keep yourself safe. Don't make yourself vulnerable to an attack. You find that where there's a GBV incident, maybe you lose even 3 to 4 lives because we are not taught safety in the home when it is actually happening. But again, it is good I went in because I wouldn't have known how my sister died, even if she gave me evidence. So I think God, there's a way that he protects the victims. Whether you know him or not, I always tell the people I counsel, God will always protect you. Then I went into marriage. Again, there was emotional abuse. The kind of abuse where...
But before you go to your marriage, what happened to that man who stabbed your sister?
So the moment I went to call for help, remember the kitchen party gifts were not yet unwrapped.
Yes.
So he now gets that thing he used to sharpen the knife.
Yes.
So he stabbed himself here and on the wrist. So by the time we were breaking now the door to enter, that is when now we found him gasping. He left a note like on the mirror. And my brother, who was there at the scene, carried now my sister to try to rescue her. That scene when you are carrying the victim, the blood that pours out on you when you are saving a life, all those things we need to be counseling the people who are attending to the victims, because they also go through trauma. You just see someone oozing blood, and he was in a white t-shirt. So your lovely sister, and he carried her, and we didn't have a vehicle then, so we had to get the next van. So even that vehicle that we used, where that blood is, those people that help you, they also get traumatized. So the trauma actually extends to everyone who is at the particular scene. And those memories, they never go. And after the death, we had to relieve the trauma, the stigma from the community. Oh, tenda kungombe paja pa nyumba. Paya muntu. Even when you're on the bus or just at the market, bakasakira chepa nyumba patu bapaziva. Not because they've heard salvation of the Lord there, but they've heard that some lives were lost there.
Matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's terrible, but we heal through the process and we help other people.
Okay. So after that death, you went on with life. You got married.
I got married, but what helped me to heal is working at an NGO called Tiny Team and Friends. I used to counsel different children and adults. So one unique experience I had in my counseling was a child called X. I can tell his name. This issue of where you are accommodating ex-convicts, like people who go from prison, they come back home, tomorrow again they are back in jail. Pay attention to those people when they come into your home, because you have no idea the abuse they cause on the children. So my client X in the counseling was never born HIV positive, but the uncle, he is a male. Uncle, every time he used to come back from the cell to weekend when they release him, every night used to abuse that boy at the age of 9. And we had to rescue his life. His CD4 count was actually low, and he had TB. So we couldn't treat both at the same time because it was life-threatening. And the boy actually got a bond with that same uncle
of his.
There is that attachment that comes, just like in my case, the abuser, my first abuser. There was that attachment that now began to sound like, okay, it's normal. So you need to understand the issues of aggression, proximity. When you are handling issues of abuse, why do the victims still want to go back? It's that bond that you never pay attention to. So that child actually got exposed to HIV and almost died. If your CD4 count is at 9, I don't know how you would make it. And the grandmother would protect that uncle because she loved him. Bazava manga. So all those things, they happen in the homes. The people that we bring into the homes, they make our children vulnerable. Yeah.
Okay. So you got married?
I got married. Then also I had dreams. I was looking forward to a successful, bright life. And where you tell your friend, this is the life that I want to have with you and your family. The first time they'll be good to you, but life began to change. Maybe you were bringing more income, the sacrifices, maybe supported your education. Then the moment you get your job, you want to change. You become a superstar that even your ATM card, you want to move with it in the armpit. But your friend used to give you all their money. And because I was so in love, I didn't see that I had to invest for the future. I reached a place where I had the emotional exhaustion because ever doing the role that the man should do in the prime years of my career. So I missed it somewhere there. And also when you're getting stuff as a marriage, whatever the spouse gets is supposed to be yours and that. But remember in my case, I just went back home to my mom that the marriage is over, just with the photo album.
How did that happen?
Those 10 years, it happened so because I declined property settlement and child support because I said if he's got conscience and the mind to remember that I've invested, cycles of loans, you make your friend get loans and all that. You even consume that money. Even when you get paid, you as a man, you want to be the one dishing out, even making your friend to pay tithe. But now when reality comes, you get a job. Now you start issues of secrecy. No, our HRA doesn't allow us to share ATM pins because we work at the bank. The lies that we develop at work that you take at home, there was never something like that. Or maybe you go home on a weekend, like because we're staying in different homes. I go to clean, you find stacks of condoms. In the culture of the marriage, maybe you never even used to use the condoms. And you ask, where are these coming from? He would say we were given at work. So I was like, oh, let me call your HR to find out why they are giving you the condoms, you know. These are things that happen in the homes.
Yes.
But how would you, as a young woman? But I would always go there, faithfully clean. Whenever I find the stuff, tell him, pick it up. And I try to stay on, but it was too much. You see? The things that we bring into the marriage, the dirty stuff. When your wife is staying in a different home, couples that are staying faraway places, each time you bring in different women, you don't make the home pure. Eventually you get through that exhaustion. So life went on, but it wasn't easy. Yeah.
Okay. So you left your marriage?
I left, thank God.
How did you leave?
I had to speak to myself that this is not going anywhere, because it reached a point where even where you're supposed to get support, like maybe your own mother-in-law would support you in a certain way based on where you're coming from as a family. But you find the maid for your mother-in-law would even ask, you know, such things. They really happen. So there are times that the family will actually prepare a girl. They prepare someone against you to kick you out.
Yes.
Which is not right. And how you chase someone. They should really be valuing people's children. And don't think that when you mistreat other people's children, they don't get traumatized. It's actually worse than beating them. The way I was thrown out. Like even the entire family rising up against me, come out of this home. Our brother doesn't want you. You know, all those words. I had to live with those words. But it was painful. Yeah.
Did he follow you afterwards, or did you have a child with him?
Thank God to legal aid. They really help women, and they are the people that help me. There was no interaction with the family. Actually, both families never even met for closure or even be given a chance to air out my parts. They were actually happy that I've been dissolved from the marriage and everything. The 2 children, I still told the lawyers that I wouldn't want child support. If he's mature enough, he will continue supporting the children based on his conscience. Yeah.
Okay. So this year we are commemorating, or this time we are commemorating 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And the theme is digital violence for women and girls, all women and girls. How do you interpret it?
I like it in 2 ways. One, technology for me is what I'm addicted to actually. I have my organization, Touch of Friends, but you will not actually find people queuing up, coming for counseling. I target more on a digital space, finding my relevance on the digital space. So we started the virtual symposium in 2021 when there was COVID. People were not able to come for counseling. So we've been using those conversations to raise awareness on different things, but most centered on child welfare and safety. Then also, on the other side, why I love the theme, the culture that we are embracing as family today is not what culture used to be, is not what marriage used to be. Like in my case, when I went through that rape, grade 12, like right now, you have the school leavers all over. They're excited, things are popping out online. But watch out to where your children are going from the virtual platforms that they're interacting on. And also you must be aware that this digital issue is actually a reality. We are bringing in a culture that we are learning virtually and want to apply it in real life, which maybe our spouses are not used to. You want to demand from your wife something you learned on TikTok. If she doesn't deliver it to the expectation, you want to have it elsewhere. There are so many things that have come as a wrong, but for me, I appreciate it because I've invested a lot of money in my missions and in the same virtual symposium. Even if it is on the same digital space, you find others, they are using it to actually destroy their lives. You meet someone online, tomorrow you're in a relationship, marriage takes in. And now life on the virtual space is different like life in reality. Just like the way when we are looking for houses for rent, the picture looks good on Facebook, but when you go and view the house, it is different. So learn to screen the interactions, placing the virtual platforms you enter into and what you are also doing. But also, we cannot fight this digital issue that we are having if we are not having the skills, the competencies. I actually started studying cybersecurity in 2022 because I had interest in my community initiatives that ride on technology. If I have to help the children, maybe for instance, I need to develop an app that detects things that don't make children safe online. So we need to be very careful how we are embracing this digital space. And out of our third symposium we had this year, one of the things we resolved was to create a safe space for children. So we did apply to the ministry that because of the resolutions in the symposium, we would love to have a national facility only for females and children, which they gave us permit to construct a national rehabilitation center and a mission house for females and children. So for me, that is something that has built as an achievement by finding my significance and space on the digital space. Others are using the digital space to be promiscuous. You find someone has got passwords on their WhatsApp chats. There's a password for girl number 1, password for girl number 2. Many people that have committed suicide, maybe it is the content they were exposed to online. And we don't care enough to look out for the addictions that come through screen time. Addictions in children. You are supposed to talk with your child. At every level of a child's growth, there is communication levels. But you want to download something on YouTube, you spend a lot of money, you want a cartoon to train language. You're even proud that my child speaks good English out of a cartoon. Why can't you be proud to teach your child through a natural bond and through your own language? We have adults, they are busy in the offices, but you have no idea the addictions they are getting through the space. Within the workspace, there is abuse on the females. Maybe you are talking to someone, they send you an uncomfortable picture. But how many women in the offices are able to report that, I think this boss sent me a bad picture, an inappropriate one? And we assume those cultures. By the time you finish 5 years working at that facility, most likely you will find at least 8 women have been abused through conversations virtually. They'll just text each other, sex texting, where they'll be behaving like they're the wife. So we have actually virtual wives and their house physically at home. You want someone to entertain you on the phone, but you have someone else again. So all those things that are building up are causing emotional disorientation to the women, to the females. Why do you want to be a sex-centered generation? Because all the time, if you ask many people, why are you online? You're even finishing your fingers, not kumotunasi. You just want to every time doing this. But when you ask them, what is the relevance of that content? I actually have a discipline. There are certain apps that I don't allow on my phone. And I've made my life in honesty. Even if I'm a cybersecurity student, I don't allow passwords in my relationships. Because why should I have passwords controlling our communication gadgets. So that should be a pointer to say, why is secrecy there? Even if you have a high profile job, have a family phone and then say, this is specifically for work, you're not supposed to have privy to this information. The passwords, we build them that even inside the home there are passwords. For you to access something, they even develop a language in children to have passwords. When they need something, they just say a certain word and you have access to something. The things that our children are watching, pay attention to them. You find that you're exposing your children to so many attacks. Child trafficking, you allow your children to, you are twerking with them for TikTok content. You are using your child's body to attract harm on them. Then you want to cry foul that the world is not safe. We are the ones that are creating this content. Even when you are finding stuff on socials, try to avoid to always pulling in terms of gathering. You want to get from this side, you want to get from this side, and you're seated with your children, you want to watch with them. Even things that are not age appropriate. You think you are following the reels, the short videos, but your children are paying attention. By the time they are 2 years past, they have a certain language that you have built in them. So we are actually responsible to make this, if we have to be united, let us learn the computer space. If you are good in software as a woman, because for you to be safe on the digital space, don't just find the spaces where you're able to advertise your Nakonde rice. Go beyond training. There are online classes. You can actually play the YouTube videos to show you about how to do access controls. There are so many things that you can learn on the social space instead of you just being a victim. As we've invested from 2021, we meet a lot of people on the computer. It's actually cheaper, but it will cost you more lives if you're just using technology to entertain your pleasures. That is why we also need to merge in spirituality. That's why our work goes well with the missions that we do and the virtual symposium. And this is what has built for us to have that facility. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dorcas, for making it to our studio and giving us that valuable information. That was Dorcas Mola Kakoma, a GBV or gender-based violence survivor. On behalf of the entire ZANIS production team, my name is Alice Panda saying goodbye and God bless you.